All right, after lesson 280 of the workbook of A Course in Miracles, we have another reading, another little discourse that Jesus gives, and it's called What is the Holy Spirit? And I think if you are a student of A Course in Miracles, this is a big question. Like, Jesus keeps talking about the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit. Well, what is the Holy Spirit? It's not like Jesus doesn't tell us throughout, what characterizes the Holy Spirit, but we still might be like, but what is it really? What it's not something very tangible, obviously. So hopefully this is going to clear it up. Let's read it and we'll see. Okay, what is the Holy Spirit? Paragraph 1. It's 5 paragraphs. All these discourses in the latter portion of the workbook are all 5 paragraphs. They're all just 1 page, 5 paragraphs. I've mentioned that the third paragraph of the 5 paragraphs is usually like the turnaround paragraph. Let's see if this follows that same pattern, where Jesus starts, the first 2 paragraphs, he kind of lays out the problem. The third paragraph brings in the solution, and then the last two paragraphs are like more on that, what the third paragraph brought in. So here we go. Paragraph 1. The Holy Spirit mediates between illusions and the truth. Since he must bridge the gap between reality and dreams, perception leads to knowledge through the grace that God has given him to be his gift to everyone who turns to him for truth. Across the bridge that he provides are dreams all carried to the truth, to be dispelled before the light of knowledge. There are sights and sounds forever laid aside. And where they were perceived before, forgiveness has made possible perception's tranquil end. Paragraph 2. The goal of the Holy Spirit's teaching sets is just this end of dreams. For sights and sounds must be translated from the witnesses of fear to those of love. And when this is entirely accomplished, learning has achieved the only goal it has in truth. For learning, as the Holy Spirit guides it to the outcome he perceives for it, becomes the means to go beyond itself, to be replaced by the eternal truth. Paragraph 3. If you but knew how much your Father yearns to have you recognize your sinlessness, you would not let his voice appeal in vain, nor turn away from his replacement for the fearful images and dreams you made. The Holy Spirit understands the means you made, by which you would attain what is forever unattainable. And if you offer them to him, he will employ the means you made for exile to restore your mind to where it truly is at home. Paragraph 4. From knowledge, where he has been placed by God, the Holy Spirit calls to you to let forgiveness rest upon your dreams and be restored to sanity and peace of mind. Without forgiveness will your dreams remain to terrify you, and the memory of all your Father's love will not return to signify the end of dreams has come. Paragraph 5. Accept your Father's gift. It is a call from love to love, that it be but itself. The Holy Spirit is his gift, by which the quietness of heaven is restored to God's beloved Son. Would you refuse to take the function of completing God, when all he wills is that you be complete? All right. This is a little challenging, right? You probably heard this. If you were just listening to it, you probably heard it, and maybe you want someone like me now to try to explain this to you. It's kind of like I've been listening to what's going on in the courts with the court cases in the government, like the Supreme Court case for Abrego Garcia, if you've been following that. And if you read a ruling by a court, you generally, unless you know legalese, which is, court talk and legal talk, you need someone to kind of decipher it for you. You need someone to help you to understand what it means. It's the same with the Course, because the Course uses terms that are specific to the Course, and it's its own language. It's like a whole new language. And so don't feel bad if you don't fully get what it's saying. I don't know if I fully get what it's saying either. But at least, together we can try to come to some better understanding. So here we go. What is the Holy Spirit? Paragraph 1. The Holy Spirit mediates between illusions and the truth. Since he must bridge the gap between reality and dreams, perception leads to knowledge through the grace that God has given him to be his gift to everyone who turns to him for truth. All right, so Jesus doesn't say it here, but let's just talk about a little bit about the metaphysics of A Course in Miracles. Basically, we have this idea that God does not even know about the illusion because God is God. God is perfect love, and in that perfect love, there is no illusion, right? There's no sin. There's no need for forgiveness. There really is nothing but that perfect love. That's the idea. That's the basic metaphysical principle, and that God has never changed, and God could never change, and God could never create a world in which there are illusions, because that is not God's nature, right? On the other hand, now let's just say this, because then you might say, well, where did it all come from then? How could there be a dream or an illusion if God did not create it, if God is everything, if God is, and this is part of the problem with understanding A Course in Miracles is how we deal with questions like that. And everyone has those questions. And there are places in the Course where Jesus says, well, to even ask that question is, you're coming from the ego, and the ego will never understand the answer. So what you want to do is you want to let go of the question and know that the answer, the knowledge will come through not being attached to that question. That's not exactly what Jesus says, but that's something, more or less what he's getting at. So remember that early on in the text, Jesus makes this distinction. Actually, he makes it even in the introduction, the preface to the Course. Jesus makes a distinction between knowledge and perception. Knowledge is the realm of God, which is, or you could say heaven, God, oneness, love. All these terms are essentially synonymous. And knowledge is synonymous too. Knowledge is the realm of you could say non-dual oneness, which is kind of it's not a contradiction in terms, but it's I just kind of said the same thing twice, but knowledge is opposed to perception. In this world, we're in the world of perception, which means we are in a world of duality, where there are subjects and objects, where I see myself as a subject, I see everything else as an external object. It's external to my mind. It is not a part of me. It is separate from me, and I perceive things. So the Holy Spirit mediates between illusions and the truth. Since he must bridge the gap between reality and dreams, so dreams and illusions are the same, basically. Truth and reality are the same. Perception leads to knowledge through the grace that God has given him to be his gift to everyone who turns to him for truth. So what I was about to get to earlier was to say that when the tiny mad idea of separation seemed to happen, God gave an immediate answer. And what was that answer? The answer was the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit, so to speak, came into the world of perception with the Son, the sleeping Son, the Son who was dreaming this dream, and the Holy Spirit was still with the Son, right? So in a sense, the Holy Spirit is the bridge or the link between the Father and the Son, and can bring the Son, can awaken the Son back to the love of the Father, if the Son wills that. But if the Son does not will that, that cannot happen. It's really up to the Son, and the Son is you, right? The Son is each one of us who think that we're separate and think that we're apart and think that we are not connected with God or not fully connected. We have to have the will, we have to have the desire, and then we have to connect with that part of ourself, which Jesus calls the Holy Spirit, which will help to bring us back, to guide us back to the love that we thought that we gave up or thought that we threw away, but we didn't really. So the Holy Spirit mediates between illusions and the truth. Since he must bridge the gap between reality and dreams, perception leads to knowledge through the grace that God has given him to be his gift to everyone who turns to him for truth. Right? So that's important, that you have to make that turn toward God through the Holy Spirit. Meaning you have to access that part of yourself that truly wants to know and truly wants the truth. Right? Across the bridge that he provides, our dreams all carry to the truth to be dispelled before the light of knowledge. Right? So again, there's perception. We're in the world of perception, and the light of knowledge will ultimately take us beyond the world of perception back to God's realm, which is the realm of knowledge. There are sights and sounds forever laid aside, and where they were perceived before, forgiveness has made possible perception's tranquil end. So this is the end of perception. This is the end of sights and sounds. What does Jesus mean by sights and sounds? He means the sense perception. Our sense perceptions will come to an end, and we will be back in pure knowing, right? Where there is no more subject and object, right? That is what defines perception, is subject and object, and knowledge is defined by no more subject and object. The subject and the object now are one. There's no separation. There's no distinction. And that is made possible, and then Jesus brings in the word forgiveness. That is made possible through this, what he calls forgiveness, which is basically this turning towards truth and this letting go of what is not true. Or you could say this turning toward the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is our guide, because the Holy Spirit is you could say that messenger of God, which completely remembers God, right? Completely remembers the truth, and so that's still within us as well. And so there is a part of us, all of us, that still completely remembers the truth. We're just in denial, or we're just in resistance. Paragraph 2, the goal the Holy Spirit's teaching sets is just this end of dreams. For sights and sounds must be translated from the witnesses of fear to those of love. And when this is entirely accomplished, learning has achieved the only goal it has in truth. For learning, as the Holy Spirit guides it to the outcome he perceives for it, becomes the means to go beyond itself, to be replaced by the eternal truth. So, this is difficult, but if you've been following the course, this may seem familiar, which is the Holy Spirit basically is leading us out of the realm of perception, which is also the realm of fear, because we wouldn't be here in the world of perception if we were not afraid. And so this is a journey through our fear back to love again. And basically what we're learning is we are learning to let go of the fear, right? We're learning to let go of the fear. And when we fully learn all the lessons that we need to let go of our fear, then love will just be shining. We don't need to learn love, because love is our nature. That's not something we need to learn. We need to learn how to unlearn the ways of the ego, right? Which is the ways of fear. And when we have done this, then we don't need to learn anything, and we're back in knowledge. We've graduated, and now we have knowledge, right? Which is not any different than love. We're back in the love that we are and that we've always been. I hope that makes sense. Let me know. Paragraph 3. If you but knew how much your Father yearns to have you recognize your sinlessness, you would not let his voice appeal in vain. His voice is the Holy Spirit, right? You would not let God's voice, the Holy Spirit, appeal in vain, nor turn away from his replacement for the fearful images and dreams you made. The Holy Spirit understands the means you made, by which you would attain what is forever unattainable. So Holy Spirit understands the problem. The Holy Spirit understands that the challenge. Right? The Holy Spirit does not judge, right? Because that's antithetical to what the Holy Spirit is. And that's where we're all going to, is to get beyond judgment, to go beyond judgment. The Holy Spirit understands the means you made by which you would attain what is forever unattainable. So the ego's mission is to seek but do not find. The ego thinks that it's trying to find the truth in its own way, but it will never find it the way that it's trying to find it, because it's leaving love out of the picture. It's leaving God out of the picture. It does not even know God, right? God does not know about the ego, and the ego does not know about God. The twain shall never meet. And if you offer them to him, to the Holy Spirit, he will employ the means you made for exile to restore your mind to where it truly is at home. Now, this last sentence is an interesting sentence. I think really what this sentence means is that everything that we have used to keep us in exile, keep us in prison, the Holy Spirit can now use those same things to bring us back to the truth of what we are. For example, the classic example for the Course is the body. Jesus says the body was not made by love, but love can now, I forget the exact, I'm blanking on the exact quote, but love does not condemn it. The body was not made by love, but love does not condemn it, and can help to bring the Son back to the love. So in other words, the body can be used as a way to separate one brother from another, but it also can be used as a way to, if it's used in the service of the Holy Spirit, which is a service of God, then the body now can be used as a way to bring us closer together. Right? So that's what I think Jesus is getting at here, is that the Holy Spirit can use everything that was made to hide from God, to get away from God, to reinforce separation. Now the Holy Spirit, if you put it in the service of the Holy Spirit can help us to now use that in the service of returning home. Paragraph 4. From knowledge, where he has been placed by God, the Holy Spirit calls to you to let forgiveness rest upon your dreams and be restored to sanity and peace of mind. Right? So forgiveness is the way. Holy Spirit's main, forgiveness is an illusion too, part of the illusory dream, but forgiveness is the one illusion that can lead us out of all illusions back to knowledge, back to God. Without forgiveness will your dreams remain to terrify you, and the memory of all your Father's love will not return to signify the end of dreams has come. So in other words, without forgiveness, we're screwed. No, I'm kidding. Without forgiveness, we will be blocking our own way. The memory of God will not return to us until we bring forgiveness into the picture. Once we have brought forgiveness into the picture and we have really tried to learn and practice this course, it will come. And then we will better understand this course once we do the practice. The understanding will come, and then we will better understand the course, and this will all make more and more sense. But first we have to deprogram from the ego's cult. And that's where forgiveness comes in, right? It's all right, last paragraph. Paragraph 5, accept your Father's gift. It is a call from love to love, right? That's what this course is. That's what this teaching is a call of love to love, right? The Holy Spirit and Jesus represent love. They symbolize love. They symbolize the love of God, the perfect love of God, and they're calling to us to do the same, right? That's all it is. That's all this is. It's the greatest gift. It's the only gift. It is a call from love to love, it be but itself. The Holy Spirit is his gift by which the quietness of heaven is restored to God's beloved Son. Would you refuse to take the function of completing God when all he wills is that you be complete? Right? The only will, God's will for us, is perfect completeness, perfect happiness, perfect joy. Don't we want that? That's God's will. You know, Jesus is just affirming that. And remember, Jesus does not say it here, but he says it elsewhere, that Jesus became himself. He was a man, just like he was a human, just like we are. And he went all the way with this, you know, learning the lessons of love. He went all the way, and he basically became the Holy Spirit. He became a manifestation of the Holy Spirit, which is, what is the Holy Spirit but God's messenger, right? God's, you could even say, messianic messenger that comes to share the lesson, the teaching of love with all our brethren, right? And so, don't we want to accept our Father's gift? Don't we want to accept what is our birthright? Birthright might not be the best word because we were never really born. We are only born in the dream. But you could say our true nature, our true self. That's why Jesus said itself. It's, you know, it is a call from love to love, that it be but itself. Right? You are love. Don't you want to be yourself? Why are you hiding? Why do you keep denying that or resisting that? Do the practice already. Get with the program. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Would love to hear your feedback. What is the Holy Spirit? It's what we just read. There's a lot more to say about this. I'm going to try, you know, this video has been quite long already, so I'm going to leave it there. But, you know, I think there's no substitute for engaging with all this on your own and taking it seriously and really making your best effort with it. I hope these videos are helping. Let me know, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.